Hello everyone, I'm Raven from Raven Comics, and in today's video, we'll be looking at the Sacrifice story. Previously, I had uploaded a brief summary of this story, but now we'll cover it in a much more complete way. We begin in Metropolis with Lois Lane. She thought that being married to Superman would be interesting, but she never imagined it could be so complicated. She has lived with him for years, yet there are still things about him that she doesn't understand, starting with something as basic as his perception. How does Superman physically see the world? When people think about Superman's eyes, they usually focus on his heat vision or X-ray vision, but the magnitude of his abilities goes far beyond the obvious. He can focus his vision at such a microscopic level that he can identify DNA strands, and in the next second, he can shift his focus and see the other end of the universe. Lois has tried to imagine it, but it must be incredibly hard to grasp. Tonight, Superman didn't come home to sleep. After what happened yesterday, she's very worried. They have been through a lot together, but the way he looked at her with doubt, that was new. Then, she remembered something from her childhood. She was camping with her parents at a lake outside Metropolis. She had been in the water for hours when she asked her mother for the diving goggles. Lois put on the goggles, swam to the center of the lake, and submerged herself. There was nothing there, nothing except an endless gray. She felt completely alone. Nothing actually happened, but it was a terrible sensation. Some nights, she sits and watches him, wondering, does Superman feel that same loneliness every time he opens his eyes? Meanwhile, elsewhere, we see Superman with his hands covered in blood. He's not well and wonders what he has done. Back with Lois, someone stands in front of her, and she asks what they want. To better understand this, let's go back 24 hours. The city is in ruins. Jimmy Olsen comments that when Superman decided to push his heat vision to the maximum, this happened. Maybe Metropolis can convince that conceptual artist, Christo, to throw a tarpaulin over this disaster and charge people to see it. Clark is sure that Superman will help with the repairs. He's relieved that no one got hurt. To Jimmy, that's a small miracle. He has asked some scientists at the Daily Planet to estimate the temperature spikes during the battle. Based on the melted glass, they estimate around 1,000 degrees. They can tell it was hot. Clark says that Black Rock was threatening to destroy Metropolis's skyline. Are you suggesting that Superman overreacted? For Jimmy, it's hard to say. He wasn't one of the people getting punched through buildings, but Superman usually avoids the nuclear option for big threats like Doomsday, not for second-rate TV villains. Clark doesn't think that's how it happened. The report is over, and Jimmy should get it written up. It's time for Clark to move on. As he walks through the office, he finds a new girl at a desk and asks where Lois Lane is. Nellie, the new girl, says Lois can't be disturbed. She was very insistent that no one should be let in. Clark insists, "Where's my wife?" Nellie stands up and says she'll go find her. Superman is a bit worried, so he uses his X-ray vision to see through the door. When he looks inside, he sees Lois standing next to Brainiac. This makes him absolutely furious. Clark is about to enter the office when Nellie stops him. "I'd appreciate it if you had a little patience." Clark can't hold back anymore and knocks down the door. But when he enters, he only finds Lois Lane. Brainiac isn't there. Clark doesn't understand. "He was here. I saw him." Lois asks him to stop. "What are you doing?" Clark tells her that he's saving her. "I can't believe you were here talking to Brainiac." Lois tells him he's scaring her. "He was just trying to be my friend." Clark doesn't understand. "What do you mean Brainiac wants to be your friend?" At this moment, he's taking her out of here. To Superman, the two of them could never be friends. "He's tried to kill me dozens of times. That's why he keeps his Clark Kent identity a secret, to protect the people he loves from monsters like him." Lois asks him to trust her. "I don't understand any of this." Superman tells her that's because Brainiac is doing something to her mind. "He's using you to get to me. He wants to trigger my security protocols. You need to stay put. Something's happening." "Everything is fine," he says. "I'll be back for you as soon as possible." Superman leaves. He's going to find Brainiac. Later, we see Superman investigating the situation. Brainiac must have established a new base of operations. He is a synthetic machine, as he himself said, with high levels of energy and technology. If they want to find him, they have to look for energy fluctuations across the planet. Right now, they're searching for anomalies. Brainiac appears on the screen. A small clue can put you on the right path. Also, Superman, you should consider installing a better firewall in your system. The Man of Steel asks what he did to Lois. Brainiac tells him that he touched her mind. I want you to see what she sees. Whatever he did to her, Superman is going to find out and reverse it. Brainiac tells him he's not hiding, but he won't make it easy. I can access every system in your fortress. That includes computers and communications. It also includes this primitive robot. Superman attacks. Brainiac can access whatever he wants. Besides, I built it, and I can destroy it. If I could feel anything, I'm sure that punch you just threw would have hurt. Fortunately, I don't have those human weaknesses. Superman isn't in the mood for games. Where's Brainiac? Brainiac says, you need to go further. You're close. Your other empty, I will see. If you want to find me, keep searching. Latitude, 12 degrees north. Superman keeps moving. Longitude, 190 degrees east. When he reaches that point, he has to look down. Brainiac wants them to meet where only beings like them can survive. Earth's orbit is too crowded with primitive communication and surveillance systems. But if Superman goes 7 miles beneath the ocean, he'll find another world. Humans call it the Mariana Trench. The cold is unbearable. Superman arrives at the place where Brainiac was waiting for him, and he still has no idea what this is all about. Brainiac appears in front of Superman. Your Lois Lane has a problem, the most fitting name for her condition. Superman should have been able to protect her. Was it Clark Kent who allowed her to be shot? Superman doesn't understand what Brainiac just said. What have you done? Brainiac tells him, that's the wrong question. I'm not the only one capable of designing advanced robots. I already told you, you may be standing in front of me, but this won't be easy. I looked into your mind. I know all your secrets. You are Clark Joseph Kent, adopted son of Jonathan and Martha. He is Kal-El, son of Jor-El and Lara. He is an alien pretending to belong to a world that will never be his. He hides from the truth, as if calling himself Clark Kent could change what he truly is. Superman tells him that he is not hiding, but as he speaks those words, he receives powerful blows from Brainiac. In some ways, they are alike. He hates him because he has discovered the one thing he never wanted to know. Brainiac is at peace with what he is. He does not pretend to have a false humanity, hoping that humans will accept him. Clark tells him that they have accepted him. Lois loves him. Brainiac has seen inside Lois' mind and has witnessed the truth. She fears him. They all fear him. Superman becomes furious and yells, "No, you're wrong." Now, using his strength, he delivers a powerful punch to the wall. At this depth, the external hull pressure is about 16,000 pounds per square inch. The Man of Steel, of course, can withstand it. But what about Brainiac? Obviously, Brainiac had come prepared and anticipated this situation. His intelligence will survive. But what about those trapped here? They will not make it. Brainiac has seen through Superman's eyes. He has seen how important they are to him. The irony is that they were safe until he destroyed this facility. The cylinders were designed to keep humans in, not to keep water out. He cannot take them to the surface. Their blood would fill with nitrogen, and they would die. When the compartment floods, the cylinders will be destroyed. Superman doesn't know what to do. His friends don't want to die, but soon, they will no longer matter. This is what Superman still doesn't understand. No matter what he does, everyone will die. But they will go on. Water floods into the cylinders, and all he can do is watch as they burst apart. It's over for Kal-El. Now, he can finally embrace his true destiny, not with those fragile creatures, but with beings like them. Superman swore never to take a life knowingly. But today, that may change. Superman, his eyes burning red, has decided to break that oath for what Brainiac did to Perry, to Jimmy, to Lana, and to Lois Lane. The Man of Steel continues his attack, landing devastating blows on Brainiac. At this moment, he is going to die. Suddenly, he is interrupted by a great light. But what was all of this? What just happened? Superman comes to his senses. He doesn't understand. Where is he? What has he done? His hands are covered in human blood. He can see the genetic markers, but it doesn't make sense. He was being attacked by Brainiac. Whatever Brainiac is, he does not have human blood. But if this isn't Brainiac's blood, then whose is it? The Justice League has arrived to stop Superman. He has forced them to act. He has much to answer for. The safety of the world is at stake. One way or another, he will come with them, so they can find out exactly what he has done. We return to Lois Lane, who is suddenly visited by the Martian Manhunter. John Johns apologizes. He knows this is uncomfortable. Lois tells him he startled her, but the Martian asks for forgiveness. He fears he is also startled. Would this appearance be more reassuring for you? Lois tells him that he could come looking like a giant green marshmallow, and she would still be surprised. 5 more minutes, and, well, I could have been in the shower or something. As she walks through the halls, she is surprised to see how clean everything is. The detective tells her that Martians also have an imperative instinct to keep their food storage areas clean. He regrets to inform her that Flash seems to feel differently about the dining facilities on the watchtower. Well, whatever. What does the Martian want here? Why did he come to her? The Martian did not mean to alarm her. The League thought it would be best to send someone who could gather information about Superman's recent erratic behavior. Lois tells him that for a shapeshifter with a dozen identities, he is not a very good liar. She has lived with Superman long enough to know when he is scanning the sky and doesn't want anyone to find out. She knows that the Martian is here to protect her from Superman. The detective admits that it's true. It's just a precaution. He assures her it's not just about her. Given Superman's recent actions, they simply cannot risk his loved ones being harmed. That is what they see as a wise security measure. Lois asks him what he means by recent actions. Yesterday, she was a little shaken, but they are talking about Clark. He saves the world and then comes home to wash the dishes. The Martian fears that it is more complicated than that. There is a possibility that Superman is a deadly threat to everyone he comes into contact with. Meanwhile, in the Fortress of Solitude in the Amazon, John Stewart warns Superman. This is just a warning. He has his ring set to maximum output, and it will activate the moment anyone moves faster than the speed of sound. I'm warning you. Do not move. Superman warns him, the Lantern. He doesn't know what's happening here, but he doesn't have to threaten him in his home. Flash steps in. This isn't us. We don't do this. We don't attack like this. John tells him that's an ironic phrase. He knows what he did. Hawkman, with all due respect to Flash, says that Green Lantern is right. He's just being cautious. Superman was fighting, he remembers. Then there was blood, and then he was there. Dinah asks everyone to behave properly. Doesn't he know that when one of them turns bad, there's usually a costume change involved? John asks if he didn't see the damage he caused. Anyone else would already be locked up. Flash asks John to give Dinah a chance. She's always been their peacemaker. Who else could get Green Arrow to shut up? Dinah approaches Superman. He needs to be able to see past his rage and confusion, to look into the faces of the people who would die for him. Could Superman really believe they came here out of malice? Superman doesn't think so, but then why is the entire Justice League here? And besides, whose blood is this? Flash asks if he really doesn't know. He has to try to go back. What does Superman remember? Superman tries to recall. He was fighting Brainiac. But was all of this really Brainiac's fault? No, it wasn't. It truly wasn't Brainiac. It was someone worse. As we travel into the past to try and remember what happened, we return to the moment where Superman was speaking with Kelly, Lois's new intern, asking her to let him pass. Superman should have known that someone worse than Brainiac wouldn't just stay down. A creature like him lives for revenge. Brainiac, on the other hand, is not about revenge. This was all Darkseid's doing. Even more terrifying, he had done something to Lois. After seeing a small explosion, someone tells him that this is his problem, always thinking about Earth. Godfrey is referring to talking about lost causes. He seems shaken, a better suit. Superman removes his glasses and asks what he has done with Lois Lane. He has 3 seconds to answer. Godfrey tells him to save that time for the ring. Does he really think they sent a boom tube all the way to Earth just so he could punch a poor innocent like him? Superman tells him to let Darkseid know that whatever game he's playing, he's not playing along. Godfrey thinks the Man of Steel will, once he sees the size of the prize. As they move forward, Godfrey explains a little. It's not about what Superman has done, it's about what he represents. Darkseid is a firm believer in the virtue of survival. He believes that if his planet died, it's because they were the losers of the universe. If the universe is a meritocracy, then his Kryptonian cousins were nothing more than playthings of entropy. And what did Superman do when he escaped in a ship? He ended up protecting Earth, another doomed wasteland. The boss doesn't share that way of thinking. He apologizes for saying it, but being beaten by a lowly creature like Superman, that's something that has him quite upset. Darkseid wants to defeat him, and he wants the whole world to see. You know, as a morale booster. And will he do it dressed in his usual battle suit, the one he fights in on Earth? Well, whatever. As they keep walking, they arrive at the battlefield. This is a fighting ring on the planet Apocalypse. This was his idea, and Darkseid welcomes him. Godfrey gets him ready. They have to put on a good fight. One that's murderous and treacherous, with as many punctured organs, shattered bones, and torn tissues as possible. The only rule is, whoever leaves the ring loses. They have to give the audience something wet to remember. Superman asks Darkseid, "What is this spectacle about?" This isn't like him. The Dark Lord tells him that his victory must transcend language. Humiliating him now will spare him the inconvenience of martyrdom, especially since the people of Earth despise losers. Superman knows something isn't right here. What if he refuses to fight? Somehow, this doesn't feel like him. He needs to end this farce quickly. Well, it looks like Superman won't be able to walk away from this battle. Darkseid tells him that his wife has an implant in her brain, one that is also a bomb. If he fights, Darkseid won't detonate it. But if he refuses, he will. With no other choice, Superman accepts the battle. He tells Darkseid that he wins. The Dark Lord tells him that, in many ways, he does. The battle begins. The first to strike is Superman. Maybe Darkseid should have chosen a game he actually knows. The crowd is going wild. They want to place bets on their favorite. Darkseid responds with another heavy blow. Maybe the Man of Steel is right, but he doubts he fits well in the farmer's house. The fight is brutal. It's basically blow for blow. Superman wonders, what is more unimaginably dangerous than a madman with absolute power? On one hand, it's almost reassuring that his logic is beyond his own. And of course, he has no idea what he's going to do. The threats, the torture of his own people, using Lois against him. All of this is supposed to make him weak, to make him desperate. But instead, it's only making him angrier. Rather than worrying and weakening, Superman grows stronger, landing a devastating punch on Darkseid. The punch was good, but it didn't do much damage. Darkseid even tells him he expected someone better. Superman agrees. Somehow, he's been weakened. The gloves, it could be the gloves. Or maybe Godfrey set him up. Superman asks Godfrey if he put something in the gloves. Godfrey tells him yes. They had time to find some kryptonite shards. He's afraid he won't be able to use 100% of his power. He cheated. It's true. Cheating is common for them. Superman has to get back into the fight. If he were him, he'd turn around. Darkseid asks if he feels it. Can he feel how his legend is dying? The fight is about to end. This is where it all ends for the Kryptonian. Darkseid will make his friends lick the dirt off his boots. His family will serve as food for his demon dogs. His wife will belong to him forever. Superman is getting furious. If he can end this now, more than just Darkseid's blood will be on his hands. The Man of Steel uses his heat vision to defend himself and burn the gloves. Darkseid asks if Superman is using his best weapon so quickly. He is very disappointed. Clark tells him to stay still for a moment. By simply weakening the surface of the ring, it is enough for him to do this. Deliver a hard blow to the back of Darkseid's neck. The Dark Lord asks if he really thinks that will stop him. If so, he is truly a fool. Superman says that maybe he is, but Darkseid didn't count on the possibility that his stupidity might actually lead him to a plan. There was only one rule in this battle. Whoever was outside the ring would lose. And well, at this moment, Darkseid is outside the ring. Darkseid cannot believe it, but fair is fair. Superman can take his wife back, free of his will. To show what a good sportsman he is, Darkseid will even remove the implant himself. Then, Darkseid murders Lois Lane. Congratulations, Superman. He has just won. The Man of Steel becomes enraged and attacks Darkseid with his heat vision. Never again. He has exhaled his last breath for the last time in his life. Now, Superman grabs him by the head and throws him violently against a wall. Darkseid must listen to his voice. At this moment, he is going to die. Darkseid is losing. He can't take any more. But for some reason, the Dark Lord asks him to stop. Superman doesn't understand the words he just said. Granny Goodness arrives. Superman must step away from him. How dare the Man of Steel lay his hands on Darkseid, the beloved of dear Granny. The memories end, and then everything turns white, as if the world had shut down. That's all Superman remembers. Black Canary says that someone has been manipulating him. That much is clear. The common point seems to be the threat to his loved ones. Flash disagrees. The common thread is his failure to protect them. That is where the nightmare lies. There is something Clark still doesn't understand. What does this blood on his hands mean? Dinah says it could be individual DNA strands, but she thinks she knows. She fears it's worse than he really believes and is deeply sorry. Flash asks the Martian if he is monitoring the telepathic highway. Manhunter says that he is. Wally says they've told him, but he still hasn't accepted it. He believes they have to show him so that he can fully understand. The Martian understands. He will meet everyone at the watchtower. Lois asks if everything is okay. John Johns says it's hard to say. The illusions are recent and violent lives. But just as they hope the immediate danger has passed, he fears he still cannot allow her to go with him. Lois says that Clark and the other person she's referring to are so different. They have never truly known him. She doesn't think so. But her heart tells her that he is good. He is a good man. She has to make him see that. Clark couldn't have done this. The Martian will uncover the truth. Now he must leave. Meanwhile, at the watchtower, Flash asks Diana how Superman is taking the situation. Diana responds with another question. How would he take it? All she can say is that, knowing Superman's heart, knowing what he did to his friend and colleague, this could destroy him. Wally asks her to lower her voice. Could he hear them? Diana fears that he is not listening at all. Superman is completely somewhere else. Superman is standing in front of Batman. His friend is the victim of all this, because of him. It is his blood that is on Superman's hands. I hear everything. Wally is near hypersound with the tapping of his fingers. His impatience is a symptom of his confusion. The sound of leather as Carter tightens his grip on his mace, wondering if he'll have to use it. John Stewart remains imperceptible in his stance, ready to act if necessary. Dinah's boots click against the metal floor as she once again stares out of the main port, searching for an answer hidden among the stars. John Jones' hands examine recent history on the watchtower's computers. He has been holding his breath for 6 minutes. Everyone is waiting. I hear everything. I know the reasons. And none of this matters because I'm not listening. The one I'm listening to is him. The sound of his ribs crushing against his chest in chaos, breaking apart. The hiss of supplemental oxygen at 12 liters per minute coursing through his blood. The drip of the 4 in his veins. The sound of my friend refusing to give up. The sound of Batman fighting for his life. They've told me what I did. They've told me I tried to kill him. I can't believe it. But the heat vision burns on his chest, the fingerprints on his skin, my fingerprints on his flesh. I know everything they've told me is true. On the other hand, Diana has been there for half an hour. She hasn't made a sound. She has already used the healing ray on him twice. Short exposures to avoid aggravating the problem. She doesn't look at me while she heals him. She doesn't speak. All of this only makes it worse. We begin with Superman, who tells Diana that she knows him, that she knows he would never voluntarily do something like this to Batman. Diana also knows that in the last 3 days, Superboy has sent Robin, Cyborg, and Cassandra to the hospital, something he did while under Lex Luthor's control. Superman is the strongest of them all in many ways. How could they not be worried about what he might do if he loses control? Images keep appearing in Superman's mind. Lois dying. He thought he saw Brainiac. But no, it was Doomsday. It was Darkseid. It was ruin. Everything seems so real. Diana tells him that they need to separate reality from fiction. John Johns must have already finished analyzing the security logs. They should be in the conference room. He will join them when he finishes tending to Bruce. The Martian Manhunter knows the fight has caused significant damage to the Watchtower's information systems. What he's about to see here is the only footage they were able to recover from the security logs. They begin playing the recording from today. The recordings indicate that Batman was alone in the Watchtower, continuing his search for his satellite, Brother Eye. The Gamma teleportation tube was activated at 1432. The systems confirm Superman's arrival. Unfortunately, the audio was damaged in the fight. Superman appears disoriented, and Batman senses something is wrong. Superman attacks, apparently unprovoked, striking Batman and throwing him into the security system. That might have saved Batman's life. He was able to activate the Watchtower's intruder defense systems. The system logs indicate that the defenses were activated at 1432 and immediately assessed the threat level as Gamma. Turrets were deployed, firing at Superman, hitting him with apocalyptic sonic technology while the wide-spectrum Thanagarian laser flared, disorienting him inside the atmospheric control center. At that point, Defense Droid 4 prepared to attack, but with no effect. That's when the boom tube activated, registering Wonder Woman's arrival. Curiously, Superman didn't seem to notice, focusing entirely on Batman. until Wonder Woman counterattacked. The worst part is that the lasso's properties don't seem to have any effect on Superman's mind. However, he does recognize Diana as a threat and reacts accordingly. When Diana moves to seal the first breach, Superman breaks free, creating a second one. A brilliant tactical decision, forcing Wonder Woman to choose between saving Batman or continuing to fight Superman. This level of strategy is not normal for a mind that is controlled or reprogrammed. So what does this all mean? No one here knows what to say. Not even Superman. It was ruin. He thought he was fighting ruin. Obviously, this is some form of mind control. John Johns agrees. The recording seems to rule out the idea of direct mind control. Still, he suspects what they're seeing is the result of a psychotic episode implanted into Superman. But can it be removed? It's possible, but it would require deep penetration into Superman's mind. This goes beyond simple telepathy and could be far too invasive. Superman agrees. They have to do everything possible to save him. Flash doesn't exactly agree. Are they sure they want to open Pandora's box again? He means, maybe this only happened once. Hawkman says yes, but they're talking about Superman. If someone can control his power, why would they do it only once? John Johns and Wonder Woman will handle the mission. It begins. Silence fills the room. Superman can feel Diana's pulse against his skin. She's worried. If this doesn't work, if it can happen again, his mind will shatter. All the memories come flooding back to that moment, when Lois was being hurt. Superman saw Batman break his wife's neck. In response, he attacked him with heat vision. Then, he landed an incredible number of blows, over and over, saying he was going to kill him. That's when he found himself with his hands covered in blood. It is revealed that the one controlling him was Maxwell Lord. He was telling Superman that he knew what had to be done. The mind has fingerprints. When they cross, they leave traces. John Johns had touched Maxwell Lord's mind before. There was no doubt Max Lord did this to Superman. Wonder Woman mentions that Max knew about the Scarab and starts questioning if Ted's death, Brother Eye, and everything that happened with Superman were all connected. But what can they do? There's a problem. John Johns says he can't break Max's telepathic influence. Max's telepathy is complicated. Fundamentally, he has corrupted Superman's mind. Kal-El killed once. That act traumatized him so deeply that he created psychological barriers preventing him from ever killing again. Max has altered those barriers, forcing him to kill. Even under a false illusion, the psychological damage from that act would be devastating. John fears that any attempt to restore Superman's mind could drive him insane, or worse. He doesn't know the full extent of Max's abilities, but he suspects this manipulation has taken years. Jon Stewart suggests calling Zatanna. She could fix it easily. The League doesn't agree. So, if John Johns can't fix it, if technology can't solve it, and if magic isn't an option, what will they do now? It seems they have a plan. And Superman agrees. He can't argue with them. Not now. Not when they believe there's a chance he could be controlled again. It's the same solution they tried with Doomsday, placing him in a teleporter and initiating a loop so fast he wouldn't have a chance to escape. Hopefully, it would be temporary. As his atoms travel across creation, they will search for Max and hope they find him. Hope they can undo what's been done. It's not much of a plan. The thing is, they can't wait. Because there's still one unanswered question. If Max did this to Superman, what's stopping him from doing it to everyone in this room? Bruce is out of the game. He himself is a prisoner. They are doing exactly what Max wants them to do. What happens if he goes after Diana next? They have to stop him. What is Max doing now that he realizes this? It's not him who's being controlled. It's them. He has to stop them. He has to stop Max. But first, he'll go after Martian Manhunter. He's going to condemn him to the endless loop they wanted for him. The surprise gives him an advantage. And of course, he goes after Wally. Running was exactly what he expected him to do. Green Lantern is fast at constructing, but Superman hesitates just enough to let him finish his move. He hears Dinah inhale, preparing to scream. Carter is coming from above with brute force. Wally moves underneath, flanking him. Right now, they're exactly where Superman wants them to be. Wally is fast enough to see what's coming, but not fast enough to avoid it. Superman hits the construct with everything he has, his fist strength against John's willpower. The winner is Superman. He repeats the moves, just as they say. If it works, why change it? Dinah's scream fades into nothing. Green Lantern's construct starts to collapse. Wally manages damage control. He already has masks for himself and Dinah. Then he'll seal the crack, then go after Carter and John. It'll take at least 3 seconds to do it all. And then he'll focus on Superman. No, this isn't real. He has more than enough time. He scans the Earth for Max. The battle is over. Wally asks Dinah if she can stop him. Black Canary will try, tracking Superman. They realize he went somewhere in Switzerland. He waited for Wonder Woman to leave before taking them down one by one. Manhunter is trapped in a teleportation loop. They're trying to get him out. Hawkman and John Stewart are out in space. Superman is completely out of control. He was wandering, speaking nonsense. It's time for Wonder Woman to get to work. Dinah has to prepare the tube to take her to Switzerland. Flash tells her she can't do this alone. Wonder Woman says Bruce left her a bit of kryptonite when he was in the cave. She'll use it if she has to. Shortly after, we're in Switzerland. Diana stands before Maxwell Lord. He tells her he already knows. He still feels that tingle whenever he sees her in person. Diana asks about Superman. He's right behind her. And what does Wonder Woman say? Is she ready to kneel before her Lord? Meanwhile, let's remember something Batman did in the past. Batman created a supercomputer to spy on his friends and enemies alike. He called it Brother MK1, or better known as Brother Eye. Someone stole it. Ted, also known as the Blue Beetle, stumbled upon evidence of the theft and uncovered a much larger conspiracy. Ted was killed before he could share what he had discovered. 4 hours ago, Superman tried to kill Batman. Diana arrived just in time to stop him. All of these events are the work of this man. He can force minds to do whatever he wants. Max continues to manipulate Superman. He apologizes to Princess Diana, but she looks really good on her knees. He also has to tell her that he wants her to stay that way. Diana knows he's trying to control her too. Max tells her to let him go. She will stay down. Diana sees with the eyes of a goddess and reasons with the wisdom of a goddess. No matter how hard he tries, Max's power won't work on her. Max didn't think it would, but he can't blame himself for trying. Diana tells Superman to listen to her. He has to fight this mind control. Max says no, he can't. The Man of Steel believes what Max wants him to believe. He sees what Max wants him to see. But what is he seeing right now? Well, he sees Doomsday murdering his wife. Diana tells Max to release him right now. Max asks why he should, when he has absolute control over Superman. That's something even Lex Luthor has never been able to achieve, and he's been trying for a long time. Before she thinks that knocking him out is the answer, he has to tell her it's not. It would only work for a moment, because eventually, he will wake up. When Max wakes up, he'll make Superman dance for him again. It took him years to do this, to implant the right visions of horror and paranoia in Superman's mind. As long as Maxwell Lord lives, Superman's mind will be his to control. Diana asks if he was the one who stole Brother Eye and killed the Blue Beetle. Max realizes Wonder Woman's deductions are incredible. She's really good. No matter what she does, there's nothing she can do to convince him to let him go. Diana says she can be very persuasive if they could just talk. Max says no. Of course, he won't allow that. He won't give her a single chance. Diana barely manages to move her bracelets in time. He's already moving at high speed. He's not listening to her. Superman attacks with his heat vision. Diana barely manages to shield herself. Superman screams her name. He believes Doomsday was the one who killed Lois. Now he grabs Diana by the neck and takes her into the sky. Superman believes Wonder Woman is Doomsday, which means nothing will stop him. The world fades away. He's taking her toward the sun, and he's going to throw her into it. He keeps screaming at her. Her eyes. Hermes has to give her speed. She feels her bones starting to burn. The only thing she can do is use the kryptonite Bruce gave her. On Earth, Max orders Brother Eye to initiate Alpha Track 1 and Alpha Track 2 with full vision. As she's about to reach the sun, Diana knows she has to free her hands to break his grip. Superman is fast, and she has to be even faster. Right now, she will use the kryptonite Batman gave her. Let's say she managed to escape the Man of Steel. Superman responds with a punch. Diana loses consciousness for an instant. In her darkness, she sees Max Lord and his smug, fake smile. Reentry brings her back. Too late to do anything about it. She's going to crash, and she prays to all her gods. She begs that she has fallen somewhere deserted. Brother Eye updates Max Lord on the situation. He's monitoring emergency responses, both local and federal. There's multiple activity reports. Max knows that won't do a damn thing. This is what happens when gods fight. Mortals suffer. Could Brother I imagine the devastation if she had crashed in San Francisco? The catastrophic loss of life? These are the people who control the fate of humanity. And that's why they must be eliminated. He has to see it. The punishment Superman has inflicted on Wonder Woman. What happens if this happens again, but this time against them? What he did to Superman took time and effort. But the mere fact that he could do it at all proves his point. Because if he could do it, someone else could too. That's the heart of all this. Superman, Wonder Woman, and the rest of them could kill them all. To prevent that, they have to kill them first. Diana is completely wounded. She feels the earth tremble. Superman won't stop. He won't stop until she's dead. Diana begs Superman to stop. The Man of Steel says never again. He knows that what happened to Lois could happen to someone else. Diana tries to recover, but Superman uses his freezing breath. Maybe she's smarter than he thought, but she's still an animal. A very rabid animal that needs to be subdued. Diana manages to defend herself from a rock that Superman was about to throw at her. Superman is incredibly strong. He has many abilities: his speed, his strength, his vision. But every strength can be turned into a weakness. When he stops speaking, that's when he's using his hearing. He is focusing all his effort on listening. This is when Diana has to strike. The gods must forgive her. Using her bracelets, Wonder Woman delivers a powerful blow to Superman's ears. The impact is so strong that it echoes in her own ears as well. Superman's ears begin to bleed, and we see him fall to the ground. This is her chance to hurt the Man of Steel. But she must hold back. He is not her enemy here. She needs to buy time. Just enough time to use the lasso of truth on him. Use it to clear his mind. She only needs a few seconds for it to take effect. Despite the blows he has taken, the Man of Steel recovers and avoids being trapped by the lasso of truth. Max frees him from his illusion. What is he making him see now? It's as if he knows exactly what she is trying to do. As if he knows what the lasso can do. Diana strikes Superman in the neck. In response, the Man of Steel grabs her wrist and breaks it. Her bones crunch. This time, she is the one who screams. This isn't about Superman, it's about Max. She has to get to Max, which means she has to slow Superman down. She just needs to stall him. Diana calls for help, then takes a moment to help herself. Her broken bones scream in protest, but she ignores them. The birds won't do much more than bother him. But a nuisance is still a distraction, and she needs every distraction she can create. As Wonder Woman makes her escape, the birds swarm Superman, distracting him. Left with no other option, Clark creates a whirlwind to sweep them all away effortlessly. Meanwhile, Maxwell Lord watches and says, "Not bad. 1 minute and 54 seconds until the beginning of the end." Diana is lucky. She doesn't look like the dead bodies from her fall. Wonder Woman grabs Max and traps him with her lasso. She must end this here. Max tells her no. In any second, Superman will come, and it will all start over again. He will keep coming until one of them kills the other. Diana refuses to let either of them die. Now, she uses her tiara and hurls it at Superman's neck, causing a deep wound. It all ends here. It ends now. He has to let him go. With no other choice, Max frees Superman. Diana asks Superman if he is okay. Clark says, "He made me see Doomsday tear Lois apart." Diana tells him, "It wasn't real." Max replies, "It was real for him, and it will be again, because you can't keep that lasso on him forever. Next time, he might kill Batman, Lois, or you. You might think I'm lying, but I'm not. I can't. Superman belongs to me. I will never let him go." Diana tells him, "Yes, you will." She asks how to free Superman from his control. There's only one way. She has to kill him. There is no way Wonder Woman will allow Maxwell Lord to keep controlling Superman. Today, Batman suffered first. Then, Wonder Woman. With no other option but to kill him, so be it. Diana grabs him by the neck and snaps it, leaving Maxwell Lord lifeless on the ground. Superman just watches. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm TJ Prime, and see you in the next video.